Yeah, some examples of some legislators that we've hosted previously is Rob Portman, Jim Jordan, Jeff McLean, as well as Troy Balderson, as we mentioned a year ago.
And that's a good mix of both state elected and nationally elected or national representatives. Like Rob Portman's our U.S. Senator, right? Um, and Congressman Troy Balderson, who you just mentioned, that visit came after he was appointed to the U.S. House Ag Committee. So that was perfect timing for that visit too.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. We were very excited to host him once we heard that he was appointed to that committee. Some regulators that we've hosted previously is Dorothy Polanda, as well as former directors Dave Daniels and Jim Zeringer.
All directors of the Ohio Department of Agriculture.
Mm-hmm. Having them in was important to us because it creates that relationship, especially with what Ohio has dealt with the last few years with water quality. Both of our facilities are 4R certified, and we thought that was an important investment for us as well as the community in Ohio to show that we care about our water quality. And so to create that relationship then with our legislators and regulators, we're able to make that connection with them that we can work together a lot more easier.
So Grant, you shared a little bit about who you've had here and the way you conduct a tour and have discussion with your staff and the congressman or representative or whoever in their staff. That's so important because not only do you get those touch points at your facility, but then when I'm down at the State House or in Washington, D.C., we have an instant connection where I can visit with Representative Troy Balderson, and he said, "Oh yeah, it was great to see you out at Morral Companies here, a few months ago." Or, Chris, this issue really resonated with me because I remember having that conversation with Grant Gates of Morral Companies. And so it really brings it home and deepens our relationship and helps us when we're really working on legislation or in the regulatory arena to make our point and to really make sure they see the big picture.
Absolutely. And as an example, after Troy Balderson's visit, a few months later, I ran into him at an OABA event, and he came right up to me and he said, "Hey, Grant, how you doing? How's Morral doing?" And it was exciting for me and for the people I was with to say, "Hey, Troy remembered us. He cared about us." Yeah. And that visit was important to him.
So, Grant, for the Ohio Agribusiness Association, these facility tours, like we've talked about, are so important because it does a couple of things. One, it deepens the relationship, as we've talked about. But two, it educates these elected officials and regulators because they, especially legislators, have to have such a vast knowledge of all kinds of issues, right? And they need to not only see firsthand what agribusiness is about, but it also helps them to know that there's a resource here when they are diving into an issue. Their staff only has a certain level of knowledge, but they can come back to us and we can serve as a resource. That's how it helps the industry. And I know it's beneficial for you and your community as well.
Absolutely. To have the OABA's support for its members is crucial. To be able to have that bridge between the member companies and their legislators, the OABA kind of fits it all together. It helps make the connection. The communication is clear instead of getting lost in translation. And so to have the OABA's support between its members and our legislators or regulators is something that we all must take advantage of. Ohio's number one economy industry is the agriculture industry, and so to have the OABA's support, it goes without saying that it is immensely important.
Well, it's a win-win for all of us at the end of the day, and it feels good to have these kind of partnerships and great members like Morral Companies to support our advocacy efforts.
No, thank you very much.